Happy New Year, Film Geekdom. It's your friendly neighborhood world film geek, Albert Valentin, and this is the first video throwback cinema review. And what better film to talk about than 1986's The Stabilizer? In a decade where we had such films as The Gladiator, The Exterminator, and The Mutilator, we have a cheaply made Indonesian film about two American FBI agents teaming up with a local Jakarta police officer and a vengeance-seeking woman to stop a drug organization called the Golden Triangle. The star of the film, the titular Stabilizer, is Peter O'Brien, a New Zealand-born actor who was discovered by Damu, Gobind, and Ram Punjabi while on vacation in Indonesia. He could be known as the Kiwi Rambo, as according to the producers, he had a slight resemblance to Sylvester Stallone. Yeah, I don't see it, but to each their own. He even did a Rambo-style film called The Intruder a year before making this film. And for more information on O'Brien and that particular film, I recommend checking out Bad Movie Bible on YouTube. The film opens with a small stunt just literally seconds into the beginning when a motorcycle crashes through the lab of Professor Provost, who had developed a narcotic detector, and his former assistant Victor wants the detector. Using a secret device under his desk, the Provost's voice is recorded, and it is then we meet Christina, the professor's daughter, and local police officer Johnny. After a brief conversation, we see the most flabbergasted reaction to a possible death of a family member I've ever seen.
Dad.
We then get a title scene where it says Peter O'Brien as the Stabilizer, with a retro synth pop song sung by the marvelously named AJ as the credits roll. We then meet our Stabilizer, Peter Goldson, and his partner Sylvia Nash, played by the terrifically named Gilly Beans, as they arrive at the airport to meet Johnny and his boss. The group then heads into a van where they inconspicuously are followed by a gang of thugs, leading to an insane car chase where Johnny rolls out of the van to steal another car to follow the thugs, and this car chase leads to something insane. It was also then that we learned the professor is still alive and has been kidnapped and tortured in an unknown location. But this car chase has this crazy thing in it. How in the hell did Johnny survive something like that? He then stops the thugs with the help of the Stabilizer and his team. We are soon introduced to the leader of the Golden Triangle, Greg Rainwater. Wait, not the Greg Rainwater who played T-Bird in 1994 Street Fighter, but is this guy who kind of looks like David Bowles from Ninja the Protector. Well, it was released the same year, but anyway, just kidding. He's actually played by Craig Gavin, whose only other film credit just happens to be The Intruder with Peter O'Brien. Seeing O'Brien's filmography, one would think Mike Abbott would be perfect choice to play the villain. But Abbott also comes from the Franken Ninja school of Godfrey Ho and Joseph Lai, so maybe he was doing that at the time. Anyway, when we meet Rainwater, he is watching his girlfriend Nora bathe and orders her to come to him. When she walks up to him covered in suds, he does one of the most funniest things, and I'm quite surprised this turned her on.
Oh, you touch my tra-la-la.
Anyway, it's revealed that Victor is working for Rainwater, and after some back and forth, we see Goldson, Johnny Nash, and Johnny's boss at a club where some celebration is happening. And it's there we learn why Goldson wants to take down the Golden Triangle so bad, especially Rainwater. Yep, predictable plot twist. It's personal. See, 7 years ago, a clean-shaven Rainwater assaulted Goldson's fiancée Linda, and to put the stamp on the actions, he literally put the stamp on when... Yep, Rainwater's boots are spiked on the bottom, and he stomps Linda twice before leering at a picture of O'Brien, who kind of is looking like Stallone's Cobra before returning home. Once the flashback ends, we see some performers doing some crazy crap like lying in broken glass, and when one is revealed to be a phony trying to stab Goldson, Of course, he stopped, and the group discovers a map that looks so cheaply made. We have the most ridiculous line involving a map.
This might lead to something.
So the map leads to a warehouse with a big golden triangle on it. De-do. Anyway, it turns out it was a big setup, and both Johnny and Peter are busted by Victor and his men, and they're tied and blindfolded and taken to Victor's house, where they have the obligatory pool party with nubile women and the muscle guy, at least one anyway. Anyway, this leads to a small scene where Johnny gets to show off his martial arts, as does Peter, if that's what you want to call it. But there is a one funny scene where a thug tries to climb up on a railing only to get headbutted, and this happens. Anyway, they also get some help as the muscle guy is all of a sudden shot in the back with an arrow. And it turns out the person in question who's helping him is none other than Christina, who was looking for revenge for her father. I think she thought her father was dead, but then realizes, you know what, he is alive, and she's been working with Johnny to try to find them. So what happens is, ultimately, Christina and Peter hook up, and then lo and behold, Sylvia and Johnny end up hooking up as well after Johnny is injured in his little fight scene. Anyway, the four of them head to the warehouse again. They discover that's where the professor is hiding. He's hiding underground. And this leads to a pretty big action scene involving Victor's henchman, who kind of looks like Mr. T. And you got another one who looks like a reject from the class of 1984. And there's some pretty funny bits in it. But the one thing that struck me the most is Gilly Beans' scene, because I swear to God, it looks like there's a stunt double doing a backflip, and then after you see the backflip off camera, she runs out of nowhere. You know what? Just see the damn thing for yourself, and you'll see what I'm talking about, along with some of the other funny stuff in this movie. At least the action scene.
Y'all pity the fool.
Fuck this shit, I'm out.
We soon learn that Victor wants to frame Nora for betraying Rainwater. She never did, but it's just that Victor wants all the glory for himself. So he plants a transmitter to frame Nora, and Nora ends up being kidnapped and slowly addicted to the drugs. And what happens is Peter and crew, they do rescue the professor. Unfortunately, the professor is killed during the whole melee. And now when they head to try to confront Rainwater, they find Nora, and Nora agrees to help them. And then also there's another guy named Benny who agrees to help them, but lo and behold, double cross. It was all a trap. So this leads to a big event where eventually Rainwater discovers Goldson has escaped again, and all of a sudden Goldson, Johnny, Sylvia, and Christina are now out for revenge. And what's one of the funny scenes is when Rainwater realizes they're surrounded, it leads to this.
I hear you.
Peter has escaped. It's too dangerous.
What's wrong?
We're surrounded, boss. What do you think? Do we call it off?
No.
Victor is nowhere.
Bitch.
Bitch!
This ultimately leads to a pretty wicked action scene in which first we see Peter tied up by two goons and ridden on kind of dragged from two motorcycles, only to get rescued by his friends. And this leads to a big action showdown, which includes a lot of pretty intense falling stunts, car stunts. I'll give you a little taste of it right now just to see how ridiculous this looks, and you can just pretty much guess how this movie's going to end. So, what did I think of the Stabilizer? It definitely belongs in the so bad. It's not so bad, not good, but so bad, freaking hilarious. I have to admit, I would probably watch this again, maybe a few more times. Probably only because it has some of the most ridiculous stunts. The dialogue is just too damn funny, and anyone who knows me, they know I like this kind of these kind of movies. They're real cheaply made, really predictable, funny, unintentionally funny dialogues, and it's just unbelievable. So if you want to know my final rating on this, I'm gonna give the Stabilizer. Don't give it a C minus on this one. It's just so funny, and I know it wasn't intentionally to be funny. And Peter O'Brien would go on to a few more films, such as American Hunter, Forceful Impact, and others before disappearing off the face of the earth. Who knows what he's doing now? As for Craig Gavin, this will be his last movie, and he disappeared off the face of the earth. Interestingly enough, Indonesian film fans will recognize the actress playing Christina, Dana Christina, who appeared in Barry Prima's Warrior and alongside a few other Indonesian films, as well as Harry Capri. As for Gilly Beans, I don't know what else she was in. But anyway, if you want to see the Stabilizer and just see how ridiculously bad and unintentionally funny this movie is, you can check it out now on Amazon Prime and check it out on Tubi. If you like this video and you want me to do more of these type of reviews, like the So Bad's Good reviews or anything Throwback Cinema, do yourself a favor, hit the like and subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and you know what, if you want, I'm open to recommendations, so comment below which films you want me to review that I haven't reviewed yet. And if you want to see what films I reviewed, go to worldfilmgeek.com, click on reviews, you'll see every movie I reviewed. If there's a movie that I haven't reviewed yet that's all Throwback Cinema from the 80s, 90s, maybe even the 70s, comment below, I'll do my best to review it. But until then, I hope you guys have a great 2025. And until then, stay awesome.
And your time is running out.